Okay, so I'm going to do assignment number 22 today on this video. Remember that our notes were on adding integers. So I put integer addition. We're doing page 125, 1 through 14. You also have page 132, numbers 2 through 9, and 19 through 38. So make sure you do that. But I am going to do page 125, numbers 1 through 14. So your book looks something like this. It says choose a term that best completes each statement. So a blank is any number that makes an equation true. Now we've talked about equations back in 2-1. So we know that a solution to those equations is any number that makes the equation true. So we can say, what's 2x equals 10? Well, the number that makes this equation true would be 5, because 2 times 5 equals 10. So a solution. Number 2, the blank of 9 is -9. Now remember, we also talked about opposite numbers. And you can think, opposite of +9 would be a -9, because opposite of positive is negative. So the opposite of 9 is -9. Two numbers that are the same distance from 0 have the same what? Two numbers that are the same distance from 0 have the same absolute value. Wow, that was really butchered. Absolute value, because what is the definition of absolute value is just the distance from 0. So let's say we have our little mini number line. We have a 0, we have a 1. Why was I just about to write 2? We have our number line. We have a 0, we have a 1, we have a 2. Now we have a -1 and a -2. What this means is that the distance from 0 to -2 is 2 units. The distance from 0 to +2 is also 2 units. So they have the same absolute value. It's just distance from 0. All right, number 4. Blank include counting numbers, their opposites, and 0. Well, that's just what we're learning about, and that is integers. Yay! Integers. That is the definition of integers. Include counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on and on. Their opposites, so all the negatives, and 0. Okay, so number 5. Which of the numbers 7, 8, 9, or 10 is the solution for each equation? So basically you're taking each one of these numbers and you're putting it in for x, or you're putting it in for a, or you're putting it in for d, or you're putting it in for t. So we can see, what plus 5 equals 12? Well, we know 7 plus 5 equals 12. So x equals 7. Number 6. What minus 3 equals 7? Well, we know 10 minus 3 equals 7, so A equals 10. Now for for 7, we're solving for D. 3 times what equals 27? So 3 times 2 is 18, so 3 times 9, oh, what? 3 times 2 is 18. 2 times 9 is 18, so 3 times 9 would be equal to 27, which means D equals 27. Now you should be writing all of these on your assignment sheet, because I'm doing them for you basically, so you need to be writing them. So this one, remember T over 4. I'm going to clear this. Remember T over 4 right here just means T divided by 4. So what divided by 4 equals 2? Well, we kind of do the opposite. We can say 2 times 4 equals 8. So we know 8 divided by 4 equals 2. So T equals 8. All right, number 9. You should make a number line on your assignment. And you can just do that by, like how I've done it, just draw a line with two arrows on each end, and we are going to graph -1, -4, 0 on the number line. So how do we graph -4? We go to 0, we move over 4 jumps, and we graph at -4. How do we graph -1? Again, we go to 0, we move over to the left 1 time. And graphing 0 is pretty easy. You just put a dot right on 0. Okay, use this number line to complete each statement with one of two symbols, either less than or greater than. Okay, remember less than, this symbol here kind of looks like an L, so we know it's less. All right, so -1, is it less than or greater than 1? Well, if we look at this number line, we see -1 is farther over to the left, so we know it's less than 1. So less than 1. Now this one over here, -3 is what to -5? Well, if we look here, -3 is here, -5 is here. So which one's farthest over to the left? Remember, the farthest over to the left is going to be our more negative. Well, that's -5, because -5 is here and -3 is here. So we know -3 is greater than -5 because -3 is more to the right, -5 is more to the left. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to scroll down. Now 12, 13, and 14 are everyone's favorite word problems. We've noticed you've been skipping these, so make sure you do these word problems. They are going to count a lot more on a test than any of the previous problems. So 12, civics. The House and the Senate make up two legislative branches of the United States government. The House has 435 members. This number is 335 more than the number of senators. How many members of the Senate are there? So notice how I underlined my important pieces of information. So maybe write those separate on your assignment. So something like 435 members, and that's of the House. And that's 335 more, so that's 335 more than senators. And we can just write SEN. So what they want to do is they want us to write an equation to figure out how we're going to figure out how many members of the Senate there are. So how do you do that? We know there's 435 members of Senate and House of Representatives, right? And we know that's 335 more. Now, what do we want our variable to equal? Well, we want to know how many members of the Senate there are, so why don't we say S equals Senate members. And how we write that is let S equals Senate members. I don't usually like using S's because they look like 5s, but in this case, it's okay. So now what? Now we ask ourselves, what plus 335 is going to give us 435? Well, we know that it's just 100. So S equals 100. That means 100 members of Senate. Now, was that so hard? No, it wasn't. All right, let's move on to number 13. Sulfur dioxide is a gas often produced by volcanoes. Its boiling point is -10 degrees Celsius. Its melting point is about -72 degrees Celsius. Use one of the two symbols, less than or greater than, to compare these temperatures. We were already doing this, right? We were already doing this up here. We were comparing temperatures right here, or not temperatures, but numbers right up here. Now, the only thing about this one is they give you a word problem that goes along with it. So we want to use less than or greater than. Why don't we just say, all right, let's compare these two numbers. Which one is more negative? They're both negative numbers, but we know this one has a greater negative value, so this one is the lesser one. negative 10 is greater than negative 72. Now that's the same thing if you wrote it this way. Negative 72 is less than negative 10. These are the same thing. Okay, so that's 13. How easy was that? And they just give you this whole paragraph, and everyone gets scared, but it wasn't that bad. All right. So, number 14. Explain how you would solve the equation 3x equals 18. So, for this one, you need to give us 2 sentences in your own words. This is easy. 2 sentences. Explain how you would solve 3x equals 18. All right. Now what you need to do is start on page 132, numbers 2 through 9 and 19 through 38. Have a good day.